Hi, I'm Kayla and I help small business owners with QuickBooks Online. If you're coming from QuickBooks Desktop and you're new to the online version, you've probably realized it's quite different, but I'm going to show you some key differences to help you know your way around, including how to edit things. Okay, let's start. You'll notice the menu is different. It's not running along the top, it's along the left side. Most of what you need to do is going to be on the left menu. So kind of reorient yourself to the left side here. Another difference is on desktop, you had a map on the dashboard. You don't have that map anymore. If you come to dashboards home, that's where we are, and you can have shortcuts. So that's kind of the closest thing that there is to that map on the dashboard and desktop. Now, if we come to the left menu, click on the plus new button at the very top here, plus new, you'll come here to manually record a transaction or manually create a new record. So you'll come here to plus new, and as you can see, you can create a lot of things from this button. You'll mainly, one of the things you'll definitely be coming here for is create a new bank deposit. You can also create a new transfer, a new journal entry. And if you need to manually record a credit card payment in the books, you'll come here, pay down credit card. So that's what you're going to use for manually recording credit card payments. You also can see you can create a new invoice, which is true. This is the exception though. I do recommend actually going to the customer list, selecting the customer, and then create an invoice from their customer record, just because it will pre-fill the customer name when you do it that way. So if you just come here, create a new invoice, you have to select the customer name, which can be fine. But the problem is it minimizes the errors of selecting the wrong customer name. If you go to the customer list, go to the customer name first and then make the invoice from there. So that's the main difference, but pretty much a lot of this manually creating something new, just come to the plus new button. As we go along, you'll also see there are different places, different areas where you can create something new. So as you keep going, you'll kind of get used to how you need to do things. But to get started, just know your plus new button is going to be the place to go. Okay, now if we come down here to the transactions, you're going to look at the chart of accounts. So chart of accounts, if you in desktop, if you were used to the account icon, you'd click that account button to get to your list of accounts. It's just called chart of accounts, which is the technical name for it. So chart of accounts, your list of bank accounts, credit cards, your list of income categories, your expense categories, all of those things are going to be here on the chart of accounts. If you notice, you can come here to the far right side and you can click the arrow, the drop down, and you can edit the category itself. So if you need to edit, let's say on an income category, you need to edit, you're able to edit a name, things like that. You might have noticed that you're not seeing account numbers. That is a setting that you might just have to turn on. So you don't have to use account numbers, but if you need to use account numbers for your chart of accounts, you'll go to the gear on the top right, click account and settings, and there's a setting to turn on account numbers, and that will add a column so you can see those numbers. Okay, so from here, you can still, just like desktop, you can see a register for each account. All right, so here we're looking at the checking account. Keep in mind this QuickBooks account we're looking at, it's a sample company, it's all fake data. If you come down here, notice there's nothing at the bottom. So that's another difference with desktop. You're not going to work from the bottom, you're going to work from the top. You can sort the columns depending on what you need to see. If you click this funnel in the top left, you're able to search things. You can search amounts, search words. You can search a pay or filter by a payee name, transaction type, reconcile status. You can filter for a certain date range. So if you need to search or filter, come to the funnel. When you're searching an amount, include the cents. So put 0.00, it usually works better that way. And it is possible, like I mentioned, here's one of the places where you could create something new. If you come here and click this drop down, you can record something new directly onto this register, but not everyone's used to doing it that way. So you can just do it here and then select the bank account, select the account that it came from, and then it will record it to the proper register. When you are recording checks, keep in mind that it's different in that you don't have that image of a check anymore. So it's just if you're trying to record a check that you have written in real life and you're trying to record it in the books, you come here, fill out the fields, select the payment account or the bank account, you enter your check number, fill out the necessary fields that you need to, but you're not going to have a image of a check form that you're filling out. So that is a difference. When you are saving things, you have some options. You can either save from here, this white save button. That's if you're not ready to leave. So maybe you're just partway working on it and you're going to step away and you just need to click the save button to save what you've done so far. But you want to keep this page up. So you can use that. If you're saved and you're ready to move on, you can say save and close. Or if you need to do another check after this one, you can say save and new. So that'll bring up a new blank check record after you've saved the one you're done with. So in our case, we're not doing anything here. So we're just going to X out by the right side. A lot of times when you're just doing things online, you might be used to using the back button a lot. In QuickBooks Online, it's better to just save something or whatever. In our case, we didn't change anything. So to X out of something. So the back button does work, but sometimes it doesn't get you where you want to go. So just I wouldn't rely too heavily on the back button. And the left menu is really going to be your main way of getting around. Now for the bank feed, it's called Bank Transactions in QuickBooks Online. And when you are here, Transactions, Bank Transactions. From here, you're going to select your accounts, and then below, you'll see the downloaded transactions for that account in blue. So if I wanted to see the credit card transactions that have downloaded, I click that, and then I can see the related transactions for this account. So whatever blue account, that's the related list you're seeing. To add a connected account, you'll click link account at the top here. I do have other videos that go into more information about using this because there are several important points to know about this. But for now, just keep in mind that this is how you get to your connected accounts to see what's downloaded so you can record your transactions. And when you do record something, so I'll just do something real quick for today. When you do record something, click the categorize button and it's going to move over here. So that deposit I just matched, it's off of this list and it moves over to the categorize tab. Okay, and if you need more space, like if this is not enough space, the very top left, you have the 3 lines, click those, and then you'll get more room there. If you need to edit something, let's say that you added or matched something from the For Review tab, it moved over to categorize and you realize, oh wait, I need to fix something. You can just come here and you can either fix it from here, either the category or payee, or you can just click the blue link. It's going to open that record up and then you can make whatever changes you need to save and close. And then you can continue on. Let's say that you realize you just want to put it totally back on the For Review tab. You can click undo. As long as you haven't reconciled that transaction, you can click undo. Come back to For Review, and then it popped it back over here. Okay, so there is quite a bit more information. So check out the other videos on understanding working with this page. But keep that in mind of the Categorize tab, that is going to be very useful to know about. And on the far right, you can just click Go to Bank Register to directly get to the register for that selected account. So if I just don't want to go to Chart of Accounts, I can just click go to bank register and it will open up the register for that account that I need. If you need to edit something that's on the register, so let's say that you manually entered a transaction onto the register and you want to edit it, you can just click on it, and then say edit. So let me pick something else here, expense, and then edit. And then that will open that record. And then you can make whatever changes you need to, save and close. In our case, I'm not making any changes, so I will X out. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind if you're trying to edit things that you've manually entered onto into the books. It'll show up on the register and then you can always get back to it. You can find it on the register and edit whatever changes you need to. Now, when we come back to the bank feed, we're on the transactions menu. Bank transactions, it's coming down here, but it's also along the top here. So that's kind of depending on what you prefer, you can get there either way. So we have the bank transactions. Then you can go to app transactions. If you have integrations of other software connected with QuickBooks, it would show up here. Receipts, you may be needing to use the QuickBooks Online app. You can take a picture of a receipt and then that image of the receipt will show up here. So if you need to work with that, get information, you can come here to the receipts page. Reconciling an account is also here. I will explain more about this towards the end, so we'll revisit this. Rules, this is solely related to the bank feed or the bank transactions. So if you were to create a rule, let's say a rental, you work with them all the time, it's always the same payee, always the same category. And to avoid that repetitive work, you could create a rule so it pre-fills the payee and category for you. Although I recommend not using the rules right away. So get used to using QuickBooks Online, get used to it, and then later you could do the rules. I will tell you, there's been a lot of cleanup projects I've done that had to do with things going wrong from rules that were set up and not knowing enough about using the rules. So just kind of caution, a word of caution about the rules. They can save time, but you just really need to know how to use them properly. So usually don't use them too quickly. Get used to online and then use the rules later. Definitely there will be a feature that says auto add rules. Definitely keep that off because that is really the culprit. That's what really causes a lot of issues. So keep that switch off of auto add rules when it is time to start using that rules feature. And chart of accounts, here we are again. So here we've got the chart of accounts you can get here as well. And finally, for the transactions menu, you can get to your recurring transactions from here. So this is, you can use this for any manually entered transactions that are recurring, it's repetitive. You can set that up here. You can either set it up to be a template or you can actually have it make, so for like this telephone bill, you want it to create a bill every month. So you can set up things like that for manually recorded records and transactions. Okay, and then we've got the sales menu. And from the sales menu, we've got several pages here on the sub menu. And I'm gonna come over here. And from here, you can come to the all sales page, and this will list all sales. So invoices, sales receipts, it's all gonna be grouped here. But of course, sometimes you don't wanna see everything all together. So it is possible to filter things by their type, by the date, by a certain customer, other further filters down here. So that is possible. You can see the type over here. Notice it says invoice and then payment. Payment is referring to an invoice payment, not something else. So payment is talking about a payment towards an invoice. You'll also notice that maybe there's some columns that you need to see more information. So you can customize the columns that you see with the gear on the far right, and then you'll have more options there. Let's say that you just want to see only invoices. You can go to the invoices page. You'll get some summary here at the top, and then you'll see just invoices themselves, no payments, just the invoices. And you can also further customize this with the gear as well. With an invoice, let's say that you want to edit or open it. So you can just click on the row and a panel will show up on the right, and it will tell you information about this invoice, and that might be all you need to see for whatever you're looking for. But if you need to open up the whole thing, you can click edit invoice. There's also more actions if you need to do something else. Edit invoice will open up the invoice, or you can come here at the end and say view edit. That will open up the whole invoice as well. And you can get to it there. You can either see what's going on here. You can see the information. You can make any changes that you need to. So here, the invoice, I realize this is also different from desktop. So you'll have the customer name, their email, the bill to information, the payment terms, due date, all of that. You can, it's here and you can change it. Your products and services list, where I'm going to show you in a minute where that is, but it's going to pull from here. So you'll be able to fill this out like normal. You can add more lines here as you keep going. All right, and then down here, you've got different fields as far as memos that you want to say. So you can put a note to the customer. The customer will see both of these first two boxes, or you can do a hidden memos or hidden notes that you don't want the customer to see. You can also attach things. Maybe you want to attach a contract or images. You can do that at the bottom. This add attachment, this is going to be pretty much on all records, estimates, invoices, sales receipts, expenses, bills. You can add it. This add attachment feature will be at the bottom of those. All right, you've also got more information here. But as far as kind of further customizing your invoice, you're going to do that from the gear in the top right. When you're out of there, you're going to go to the settings gear, and then the first column, custom form styles. There you can customize how you need the invoice to be set up. You can also customize this particular invoice by clicking the manage gear at the top. And then this will open up on the right, and then you're able to see more settings and things to change this particular invoice. You can also mark an invoice paid, record a payment toward this invoice by clicking up at the top. And in this case, I don't want to save anything. Or on the right, you can just say receive payment. And then the drop-down arrow, you do have further options of things that you might need to do. Okay, if you need just to see estimates by themselves, you do have a page for this, and you can customize the columns by the gear on the right. You can say view edits. You also have the drop-down arrow for further things that you might need to do. Sales order, most people don't need this, but if you need it, there is a page for this. Recurring payments, you can set that up as well from this page. If you were on desktop, if you were used to sending payment links out to clients so that they could just pay right away, in the online version, it's going to automatically create it as a sales receipt when they pay. So some people don't want that. So just so you are aware of that, if you send a payment link through QuickBooks Online, it will create it as a sales receipt. So if you don't want that, you want it to create an invoice, you just have to create an invoice first, email it to them, and then they can pay directly through that email through the invoice. And QuickBooks will automatically mark that invoice paid. If you have that feature, the ability for customers to pay you directly through QuickBooks, and you have a QuickBooks payment merchant account, you'll have an extra page here. So it will say deposits. You'll have this additional page of deposits. This is not, it's will sound confusing, but deposits, it's not referring to just any deposits, your bank deposits. it's not talking about that. It's only referring to Intuit deposit. So only when people paid through QuickBooks payments, then it will give you a list of the fee that QuickBooks charged, an estimated date of when it's going to be deposited into your account. All of that is going to be listed there. If you need more information and more settings for this, go to the settings gear in the top right, click account and settings, and there'll be a payments tab. And at the top, there'll be your merchant link to open up your merchant account. So you have a lot more that you can do from that. All right, and now we've made it to the customer list. You'll notice you can get there from here, or on the left menu, there's just customers and leads on its own. So if you click customers, it's the same place. It'll get you to the same destination. And from here, we've got some data to give us some more information, but I can click on a customer name, see more information, see their balance from here. But if I need to edit something about this customer, click the top right, and then you can edit any contact information, whatever you need to. If you need to make them inactive, click the arrow, make inactive. From here, you'll be able to see the transaction list just for this customer. So a lot of times this is a great place to come because you're just focused on this customer. If you need more screen space, click the 3 lines. That'll collapse it, get it out of your way. And then you'll be able to see everything for Amy's Bird Sanctuary. Payment, that's just invoice payments for invoices. And you'll be able to see all this activity. If you need to see deposits that she's linked to, click all transactions drop down and say all plus deposits. And normally you don't need that on all the time, but sometimes when you're in a particularly tricky situation, turning that on can be very helpful to be able to see the deposits that that customer is linked to. All right, and then from here, you're able to see customer statements, recurring transactions for just this customer, projects this customer is linked to, their details, and more information. Okay, and then we've got the products and services page. So here is where your list of services and products that shows up on your invoices, on your estimates and sales receipts, on those line items. It's all pulling from this list of products and services. You can put them in categories if you've got a very long list, but you can also just create a new one. And then they'll first ask you to select what type is it. So inventory for physical items, you're trying to track inventory, but non-inventory, this is physical items that you're not trying to track inventory for. So you could use that. And then service, something that's not a physical item at all. And you can do things as a bundle. All right. If you're not seeing that inventory option, it might be because you need to upgrade. All right, and you can import the list as well. Okay, so that's the sales menu on the left. Now let's head over to the expenses menu and see what is there. Okay, now from here, we've got the expenses list. This, for most people, you don't really have to come here for a whole lot. What can be very helpful is if you are trying to bulk change something. So if you realize you've put the last 20 expenses in the wrong category, you could, there's a few ways to fix that in bulk, but you could come here and use the filter option, filter what you need to, and then you could update the categories here. From the bills page, here is where you're going to see all your list of bills that have not been fully paid. So they'll be listed here on the unpaid tab. You can filter as well. And then once the bill has been marked paid, then you can just come over here to the paid tab and get that information. For review, you won't really use this unless you are importing a bill. So maybe you have a PDF of a bill and you want to bring it into QuickBooks for QuickBooks to auto create the bill for you to help you out, then that would be where you'd use this tab. But if you're not using that feature, it would really just be the unpaid and paid tabs. Bill payments, you're able to see that information from here. And if you're using that QuickBooks Bill Pay feature, which does have a fee that comes with it. All right, so the vendor page. So basically you can think of this as instead of the customer list, this is your vendor list. So the functions are very much the same, but in this case, we're just talking about our vendors and the people that we pay our expenses to. So here we've got a summary up at the top. And here, if you hover over someone's name, you have the drop down for any task that you might need to. You can create a bill right from here, or you can just click on their row or on their name. And here we're going to have the information for this particular vendor. And then you can collapse this if you need to. All right, and then here you'll see all that activity. You can also filter and customize columns on the gear on the right. If you need to edit this particular vendor, click edit top right, or if you need to make it active, there you go. All right, now with bills, one thing I'll jump back about, let's see, if you needed to edit, you'll do, so now as you may be realizing, this drop down arrow, usually a lot of things you can do by using the drop down arrows. So if you need to edit, you can just do the arrow and then say view edit bill. That will open up the bill so you can make any changes that you need to, or any other tasks that you need. All right, now you'll notice that there's vendors and then contractors. So keep in mind, if you see here, this insurance agency, there's the check mark that they're 1099 tracking. So basically, nothing's official. So let's say that you're not 100% that you'll need to give them a 1099. Maybe they haven't met their thresholds where they'll need one, but it's good to just have them on your list of contractors so you don't forget about them if they are potentially going to need one. So they will be on here. But let's say that I only want to see my contractors and not all the vendors. I could just click on this list of contractors. And let's see. And then that way I can see anybody that I've checked off to track and remember about 1099s. They'll be listed on the contractor, so I can see them all alone on this list on the contractors page. But they're also, just keep that in mind, if they're on the contractor list, they are also on the vendor list. So everybody that you're paying, they're on the vendor list, but the contractor is kind of just a separate sub list. But Brosnahan, he's here and he's on the contractor list. As far as getting someone on the contractor list, you can click here, add a contractor. A lot of times though, you're doing this from the bank feed and you're adding a vendor name from there. So when you are adding a new vendor and you want to remember them and keep them in mind for 1099s, when you create and add them to the vendor list, you'll see this form when you add them, and you'll just check this box, track for 1099. So you'll come to the bottom, track for 1099, and then that'll make sure that they're on both places. And then later you can always go back and fill in all the details of their information. All right, and then mileage, you can track mileage if you need to. 1099 filings, you can actually file your 1099s for most situations through QuickBooks Online. It is an extra fee, but it is possible for most cases. And now we're going to head to reports. So on the left menu, we've got reports. Now we come to another key difference of desktop. So in desktop, you had memorized reports. That terminology is not here in online. So if you have, let's say you have a profit and loss report and you have it customized to a certain date range or certain specific information, and you don't want to have to keep changing that all the time, it is possible to save those specific, that specific setup. And then you would just click save as. That's going to, let's go back. When you do save as and you save a report, that's going to put it over onto this custom reports list. So just keep in mind, memorized reports, custom reports. So custom reports will be will all be sitting here. And then you can get back to them. If you need management reports, this is the ability to combine several reports into one PDF. So if you need to do something like that, you can come over here to manage reports. If you need to find, because you have a lot of reports, if you need to find a specific report, you do have a search bar. It might be on the right side, but it should be just up here at the top. Okay, and then our last key point here for today is going to be reconciling. So you'll come to the transactions menu, reconcile. It's also up here. And then I'll show you kind of get adjusted to how it looks pretty different. Okay, so I'm just going to plug in some random information. Okay, and we're just normally don't ignore this, but just for now, I'm just going to get us in this page. Okay, so you'll see that the reconcile page is pretty different. The left menu top right, we're going to collapse to give us more space. From desktop, you don't have those two separate lists. So the deposits, money going in, money going out, they're not two separate lists. They're all on one list together in order of the date. So some people like that better, but if you do need to see deposits just by themselves, you do have this tab in the center and it'll just update the list to only show deposits or only show payments. And in this case, when they say payments, in this particular time, they mean any money going out. It'll show up here. Okay, and then, or if you just want to see all by order of date, then you can do that. If you're using the bank feed, you'll see that they're already going to be pre-selected. They'll be checked off for you already, so that'll save you some time. But if you manually enter all of your transactions, you'll just check things off over here on the right. So these circles will allow you to check things off through your reconciling process. You'll see the difference. So instead of, there's nothing at the bottom, it's going to be all up here at the top, and you'll see what's different. And over here, you'll be able to see the comparison. So we're off, you know, this is pretend, but if we were off by 595, it's showing us, according to the statement, it was 5,000. But what's cleared on the register is this amount, or what we've checked off is this, a total of 770 going out, a total 175 coming in. So that's what's going on here. If you need to make any edits to what you typed in, click edit, and you can fix the amount or the date if you need to. If you need to come back and save for later, you can, or you can do the drop down and say finish now, save for later, or close without saving. So those are your options if you need to use them. As far as a reconciliation report, that when you come to the reconcile page here, on the far right, it says history by account. And then this will give you a list of reconciliation reports for each time that you've reconciled. And you'll have a drop down to change the account to a different bank account or a different credit card. On the left menu here, you've got more options, but those are really the key differences as far as getting kind of used to using the online version. But you do have payroll if you use QuickBooks Payroll. You do have the time tracking feature if you need. Projects, you are able to do job tracking. If you don't see that, you might have to turn it on in the settings, in accountant settings, or you might need to, you may not have it because you need to upgrade. So that might be an issue. Budgets, you are able to do a budget in QuickBooks Online. And again, you'd have to upgrade in case you don't have that feature. Taxes, you're able to record your sales tax payments. Income tax, they're just going to give you like an overview of, based on what you've recorded in the books, give you some sort of idea of how you're doing for tax, income tax time, and your 1099 filing center. My Accountant, this is where you can connect with your accountant. So you can add your accountant or your bookkeeper. And here, because this is a sample company, we can't actually do it, but you're able to enter their email for their QuickBooks account, and then they're going to connect with their own password, their own login, their own account. They'll kind of remotely come into your books and they can do what they need to. You can also share files from here. So on this page, you'd be able to upload bank statements or whatever files you need for them. And below are just more QuickBooks products, more Intuit products, depending on what you need. So from the left menu, let's say that you have looked through the left menu and you still can't find something that you need. If it's not on the left menu, it's probably in that settings gear on the far right. So there is more things that you can do over here, but again, most of it's going to be from the left menu. So you can do your budgeting by coming here. You can import data. You can do your lists. So maybe you want to customize the list of payment methods when you're recording expenses. You're able to update that from here. You can see any other attachments that you've uploaded. So if it's not on the left menu, most likely it's on the settings gear. And then you can get it from here. Your subscription, your billing for having QuickBooks Online, you can see that on the far right. And then you can see what plan you're on, if you need to upgrade or downgrade, cancel. It's all going to be from here. Okay, so hopefully that gives you some kind of helps you get your bearings from adjusting from QuickBooks Online to, QuickBooks Desktop to QuickBooks Online. When you are on the dashboard, one final tip that should be able to help you, because I know you've got all these menus and they're all kind of hidden in the menu. So if there's any certain tasks that you regularly go, certain pages that you use most of the time, you are able to hover over that and then click this little bookmark icon. And then it will be on the bookmarks at the top of the menu. So you can bookmark pages. If you were somewhere and you're not sure how to get back, once you get there, you can say on the left menu, say bookmark this page, and then it will show up on the bookmark. So you are able to get there by using, get to places quickly by the bookmarks feature at the top. Okay, so if you need any personalized help on how to take what you've been doing in desktop and you need help in seeing how to do it in QuickBooks Online, then I do have the link to my website is below in the video description. I do have a contact form on my website. You can email me and we can schedule a Zoom meeting. So you'll be able to show your screen and I can guide you and help you make this adjustment a bit smoother. All right, have a great day.